Imagine this. You're sitting in a small wooden canoe. No engine, no compass, no map, no GPS. Just water. Endless water. The shoreline disappeared yesterday. You haven't seen land since. The sun is setting. Dark clouds are gathering on the horizon. And somewhere beneath you, the deepest ocean on Earth stretches for miles. Most people today would panic. Most people today wouldn't even know which direction they're moving. Drop someone from the modern world into this canoe, and they'd be lost in 10 minutes. But Kara wasn't. 50,000 years ago, Kara and his people crossed waters that should have been impossible to navigate. No instruments, no technology, no rescue if something went wrong. And yet, they found islands hidden beyond the horizon. Again, and again, and again. How? The answer reveals something astonishing about ancient humans. Because the ocean wasn't empty. To Kara, it was full of signs. Signs most of us can no longer see. We like to imagine ancient humans as primitive, confused, wandering through a dangerous world, barely surviving from one day to the next. But the truth is far more impressive. Ancient humans developed one of the most sophisticated navigation systems in history. No paper maps, no coordinates, no written instructions, just observation, memory, and generations of knowledge passed from one person to the next. Long before satellites guided ships across oceans, humans were already crossing enormous stretches of open water. Let's go back to one of those journeys. A journey Kara would never forget. The morning began before sunrise. Kara stood on a narrow beach, staring into darkness. Behind him stood his family, his hunting grounds, his memories, everything familiar. Ahead of him was uncertainty. Stories had spread through neighboring groups. Hunters returning from distant shores spoke of islands far away, places with fresh water, birds, fish, new hunting grounds. Some believed those stories. Others thought they were myths. The problem was simple. Nobody knew for certain. If the stories were wrong, everyone in the canoe could die. Ancient humans couldn't afford mistakes. Food was limited. Fresh water was limited. Storms could appear without warning. One bad decision could wipe out an entire group. Yet staying home carried risks too. More people meant more competition for resources. Eventually, someone had to search farther. Someone had to take the risk. That someone was Kara. The canoe slid into the water. Paddles dipped beneath the surface. The shoreline slowly began to shrink. Hours passed. Then an entire day. By sunset, home was gone. Nothing remained but ocean. No landmarks, no mountains, no trees. Just a flat horizon stretching in every direction. Most modern people would already be terrified. Kara remained calm. Because he wasn't lost. Not yet. As darkness covered the ocean, thousands of stars appeared overhead. Most people today see stars as decoration. Kara saw directions. Ancient navigators discovered something remarkable. The stars move in predictable patterns. Night after night, year after year. The same stars rise from the same areas of the horizon. The same stars disappear in the same places. This allowed navigators to use the sky as a giant compass. Kara had spent years learning these patterns. Certain stars marked specific directions. As one star climbed too high in the sky to follow, another took its place. Then another, then another. Together they formed invisible pathways across the heavens. A navigator didn't simply recognize stars. He memorized relationships between them. Hundreds of relationships. Every direction, every route, stored entirely in memory. No notebooks, no charts, no backup. If knowledge was forgotten, it disappeared forever. That is why training began early. Children learned from experienced navigators. Lessons were repeated endlessly, until directions became instinct, until the stars felt as familiar as a path through the forest. As Kara paddled through darkness, he adjusted his course. Not because he could see land, because he could see the sky, and the sky told him exactly where to go. Morning arrived. The stars vanished. Now the ocean stretched beneath a bright blue sky. This is where most people assume navigation becomes impossible. But Kara had another tool. A tool hidden beneath the surface. He lay flat inside the canoe, not resting, listening, feeling. The boat rocked gently beneath him. Most people think waves are random. They're not. Beneath the choppy surface are larger swells moving across vast distances. These swells behave in predictable ways. When they encounter islands, they bend. They reflect. They change direction. To us, those changes are invisible. To skilled navigators, they're obvious. Kara felt subtle rhythms moving through the canoe. A shift in direction. A crossing pattern. A change in timing. The ocean was communicating, and Kara understood the language. Modern researchers studying traditional navigation discovered that experienced navigators could sometimes detect islands beyond the horizon simply by reading wave patterns. Not because they could see the islands, because they could feel their influence. Imagine detecting land 30 miles away without ever seeing it. That sounds impossible. Yet navigators trained for years to do exactly that. The canoe rose, fell, rose again. Kara smiled. Something was out there. The ocean had already told him. Days passed. Food supplies became smaller. Water became more precious. The horizon remained empty. Then Kara noticed movement overhead. Birds. Not random birds, seabirds. Ancient navigators paid close attention to them. Birds need land. Many species leave their nesting grounds each morning to search for food, then return home before nightfall. That behavior turns birds into living signposts. If birds fly away at dawn, land is likely behind them. If birds return in a specific direction near sunset, they are heading home, and home means land. Kara watched carefully. The birds weren't wandering. They were following a routine. Every wingbeat carried information. Most people would glance up and see animals. Kara saw directions. He adjusted course and continued forward. The following day brought another clue. Clouds. Far away on the horizon sat a cluster of clouds unlike the others. To most people they looked ordinary. To Kara, they were important. Islands affect weather. Land heats differently than water. Moisture behaves differently around coastlines. Clouds often gather above islands in recognizable ways. Sometimes navigators spotted the clouds long before they spotted the island itself. The cloud formation became a signal, a hint, evidence that land existed somewhere below. Kara watched carefully. The cloud remained, hour after hour. That was enough. The signs were becoming stronger. Stars, swells, birds, clouds. Each clue alone might be uncertain. Together they created confidence. The ocean wasn't empty. It was filled with information. The challenge was learning how to read it. By now the journey had lasted many days. Everyone was exhausted. The canoe creaked constantly. Food was running low. Even Kara felt doubt creeping into his mind. What if he was wrong? What if the signs had deceived him? What if there was nothing ahead? Then someone pointed. A dark shape appeared on the horizon. Tiny, barely visible, easy to mistake for a cloud. But it grew larger, and larger, and larger. Land. An island hidden beyond the curve of the earth. The people in the canoe erupted with excitement. But Kara wasn't surprised. He already knew it was there. The waves had told him. The birds had told him. The clouds had told him. The stars had told him. The island simply confirmed what he already understood. Ancient navigation wasn't magic. It wasn't luck. It was knowledge refined across generations. knowledge so effective that humans spread across enormous stretches of ocean long before modern technology existed. Think about what this really means. Ancient humans didn't accidentally drift across oceans. They crossed them intentionally, repeatedly, successfully. Entire communities settled islands separated by hundreds and sometimes thousands of miles of open water. That achievement required planning, training, memory, discipline, and incredible skill. Yet many people still imagine ancient humans as primitive. The reality is very different. Take away our phones, take away GPS, take away digital maps. Most modern people would become helpless. Kara wouldn't, because he understood something we've largely forgotten. The world itself can be a map. The stars, the waves, the birds, the clouds, every part of nature contains information. Ancient navigators learned how to read it, and that knowledge allowed them to accomplish feats that still seem unbelievable today. Tonight, step outside and look up at the stars. Those same stars once guided people across entire oceans. Listen to the wind. Watch the clouds. Notice the birds overhead. The clues are still there. Most of us simply don't know how to read them anymore. But 50,000 years ago, a man named Kara did. He crossed an endless horizon with no technology, no rescue, no second chances, just skill, just knowledge, and the courage to trust both. If this journey amazed you, subscribe, because next time, Kara faces something even more dangerous than the open ocean. A storm powerful enough to destroy an entire tribe, and somehow ancient humans learned to see it coming days before it arrived.